Okay, so hi everybody. What a great room. I love this. This is trying out a new space, but it really fills up really nicely. I hope you enjoy experiencing it as well. I think it was CMPA who had an event here that I scooped this idea from, wasn't it? Anybody confirm that? Yes, right, Margaret? Okay. My privilege now is to talk about, to introduce what is a new annual review for us as well, which surprisingly we've called Playback. It works so well for the event. We're calling it, using it to use for our annual report as well, which we've designed actually this year for the first time. So this will be, you won't have seen an annual review from us in the past. And we've decided to create this in the form of a website. It will be available from our website under Playback 2017. There's a URL on the little table cards as well. But today I'm just going to give you a taste with this PowerPoint to talk about some of what has been keeping us busy over the last 12 months. So we highlight, of course, some of our main advocacy activities. The framework of our advocacy in the past year was laid out on November 1st, so just about a year ago, at the Economic Club of Canada when Graham gave a speech called The Broken Promise of a Golden Age. Graham argued that the well-intentioned regulations governing the internet created 2 decades ago have failed music creators, and that governments must act now to restore balance to the world in which creators live. You'll hear more about that later on in today's program. Music creators are not alone in experiencing the adverse effects of outdated internet regulations. In late 2016, a coalition of Canadian musicians, authors, composers, poets, playwrights, actors, directors, and other members of the creative class launched Focus on Creators to urge the government to put creators at the heart of Canadian cultural policy, in particular, the anticipated review of the Copyright Act. The coalition penned a joint letter addressed to the Honourable Mélanie Joly, which has now been signed by more than 3,500 Canadian creators. And I welcome some of our partners here today. So legislation is just one of the levers in the government's toolkit to address the needs of creators. Another is institutions, and one institution in need of repair, in our opinion, is the Copyright Board of Canada. Music Canada has been the lead stakeholder in calling for a reformed Copyright Board. So this is an important theme in our annual review. Music Canada participated in hearings held by the Standing Senate Committee on Banking, Trade and Commerce that resulted in a 2016 report that concluded the board is dated, dysfunctional, and in dire need of reform. We couldn't agree more. The Senate called for a review, and in August, the Honourable Navdeep Bains, in conjunction with Minister Joly, launched a consultation process to reform the board with the goal of enabling creators to get paid properly and on time. This was a major step forward in this past year. This is another milestone from 2017 in our continued efforts to promote and protect the livelihoods of music creators. Music Canada, together with the IFPI and other creative industry associations, was actively involved as an intervener in Equistech Solutions versus Google, a case that has been widely regarded as a global landmark ruling in intellectual property law. On June 28th this year, the Supreme Court of Canada upheld an earlier ruling that Google can no longer provide search results anywhere in the world that point to a website that unlawfully sells the intellectual property of another company. This case has garnered global attention. On a celebratory note, in this Canada's 150th year since Confederation, Music Canada unveiled Anthology, Defining Moments in Canadian Music at the 46th Annual Juno Awards in Ottawa. I'm sure you can all read all the details there. Originally conceived as a series of 5 prints, Anthology chronicles the events that we've pinpointed as shaping Canadian music, including artistic and award-based milestones, industry and regulatory developments, as well as media and technological changes that have been part of our industry's evolution. To bring the project to a wider audience, Music Canada has developed an interactive website, seems to be the theme today, that includes links to historical photos and videos, and you can find that through our annual report website. A shout out to music journalist Larry LeBlanc, who helped us compile the defining moments, and designer Ben Perkis, who brought them to life. A major theme for us in the past 12 months has been artist advocates. Artists are best equipped to speak to the challenges they face. That's why Music Canada has been working closely with artists and seeking opportunities to connect them with decision makers that can affect positive change for creators. You can see Scott Hellman and Vincent Vallier here with MP Julie DeBruzen on Parliament Hill. On May 24th, 2017, Music Canada was proud to support Miranda Mulholland's honest and compelling speech to the Economic Club called Redefining Success in a Digital Marketplace, in which she shared actions that governments, industry members, music fans, and artists themselves can take to help music creators succeed. If you missed it, there's another chance, the Economic Club in Ottawa in November. Be sure to ask our team for details. And of course, we're looking forward to the panel later in the program where Miranda will share more of her insights. Another highlight this year for our team was the Global Forum at Canadian Music Week, which presented the incredibly thought-provoking subject, The Power of Music: Indigenous Artists Discuss Music's Ability to Unite, Inspire, and Heal. Juno and Polaris Prize-winning experimental vocalist Tanya Tagaq delivered a brilliant and emotional keynote address before joining Susan and Glukark, bear witness of A Tribe Called Red, Mike Downey, who co-created The Secret Path, for a profound, wide-ranging panel discussion moderated by John Kimbell. And Music Canada has been a proud sponsor of that event for over a decade. We also continued our work this year on provincial music strategies. Concentrated investment in the music industry is beneficial not only for those who work in the sector, but ultimately for the region as a whole. That is the emphasis of a report spearheaded by the East Coast Music Association, Music Canada, and Music Canada Live. It's called Striking a New Accord, and we released it at the ECMAs in the spring. And the report continues to lead to events and policy work in the East Coast. We also continue our work in BC. In their 2017 platform, the British Columbia NDP Party committed to increasing investment in Creative BC to support BC musicians, among others. Creative BC, as you know, is the organization that administers the $15 million BC Music Fund. Now that the NDP is in government, Music Canada is leading efforts to secure renewal of the BC Music Fund and working with our partners on the ground there to communicate its successes and the importance of investing in the local music community. We've been able to bring forward upwards of 20 or 25 individual support letters from stakeholders there who've really seen an impact in their lives. Music Cities also continues to be a focus as we remain directly involved in Toronto and Vancouver. At CMW in 2017, Music Canada hosted its second International Music City Summit called the Mastering of a Music City. The summit built on the success of our 2015 report by the same name, which set out a roadmap for communities of all sizes to maximize the potential of their local music economies. We had 200 guests and delegates from places like the US, Poland, the UK, France, Italy, Jamaica, and Colombia, as well as Canada, and over 5,000 people around the world tuned into our live stream. And on our annual review, there's a selection of highlights from Music City developments from around the province and across Canada as well. And finally, Jennifer will be happy to know, as she's giving me my time signal, Music Canada's historic Gold Platinum program experienced a monumental year in 2017, with continued growth in album and track certifications to the inclusion of on-demand audio streaming data. You'll remember that we began accepting streams with the introduction of the Single Award in September 2017, replacing the sales-based Digital Download Award. So then in July, Music Canada began accepting track equivalent album, or TEAs, and SEAs, stream equivalent album, toward album award certifications. Since the update, we have experienced nearly a 40% increase in album certifications over 2016, with a 70% increase in Canadian artist certifications. So we must be doing something right. Music Canada continues to add value to the Gold Platinum program with dedicated social media accounts, a new online application portal, and streaming platform presence. Currently available through Spotify and Google Play, the Gold in Canada playlist, and you heard it when you were before we started talking from the stage, is updated weekly with the latest tracks earning the coveted gold certification. So lots of activity in the Gold Platinum. So look for that hashtag Gold in Canada. It's often shared by artists and fans around the globe. This is just a snapshot of some of the events and activities that we are most proud of over the past year. Please take a look at the full website version of our annual review. And as I said, you can find it right from our website. Look for Playback 2017. We have a great team at Music Canada, so before I give up the mic for a moment, I want to just recognize their talents and dedication. Hats off to Adrian, Andrea, Bram, Corey, Jackie, Jennifer, Matthew, Patrick, Richard, Ryan, Quentin, Tim, Val, and Graham, of course. And we also have some talented friends on call. Don Hogarth is here in the room, and Ben Perkis, I mentioned him earlier as a designer we often use. We also have a few former members of our team who've left us, but only because there are other great organizations in the music community, and you know who you are, you're part of this too. So please join me in a round of applause for the Music Canada team.